Hey, James here from Party Time Brewing. Today we're going to go a little crazy and brew a light beer. We're going to take it from grain to glass in order to refill your keg with a beer that even the most critical of your Bud Light loving friends will enjoy. Anyway, if you want an easy beer, a light drinking beer, you might as well check this video out. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it if you're bored. Anyway,
Party time, party time, party time brews. This song ain't no good, but we got nothing to lose. Party time, party time, party time brews. Here's an easy drinking beer for you and the crew.
we will be using approximately 1.5 grams of calcium chloride. We just got a pretty much RO water, and it'll just be a pretty plain base for the water. About 6 pounds give or take of grain. I think 6.5, 6.6 is what I'll be using. Let's do that.
Half of my grain was already crushed, but I thought I'd send it through the mill anyway. Always good to watch a fast motion view of crushing and have a taste. Now the dough in, nicely out of frame. Guess what? I stirred it until there wasn't any dough balls and mashed for an hour. And this will probably date the video, but here's the newest Party Time Brewing banner. Another great birthday present from my wife. I got her a vacuum and a steam cleaner for Christmas, so this shows who the better person is. Now to just whip out your basket and drain the main grain. Due to the small grain bill and no fancy adjunct type stuff, the sparge went well on this batch. Here's a schmo tip. When you're heating the water for the boil, only set it to about 95 or so in order to mostly guarantee you won't have a boil over when you aren't paying attention. I usually do this during the sparge, and when I know I'll be focused, I raise the temp to 100 for the boil to start. As I was doing some sweet hip gyrations to Chuck Berry's Johnny Be Good, I mostly put the hops into the spider to guarantee minimal hot matter in the beer. Then it immediately boiled over and rendered that process useless. Here you can see the problem with brewing inside. It gets damn foggy, and I probably shouldn't have the projector right over the steam. Checking out pretty much the end of boil gravity, it was sitting at 1.028, so I added in some dextrose to bring it up to 1.032. At this point, you can use the corn sugar to bring up the gravity to your desired level. More sugar, more booze. Here's where I normally ready myself for a poorly planned boil and final volume, but this one actually ended up with a good final volume at right around 6 gallons total. After removing the magnet, I threw in some S189 Swiss lager yeast. This type of yeast ferments mostly clean with the potential for some herbal or floral flavors. I made a starter and put in the equivalent of approximately 2 packages or 23 grams of dry yeast. Here's a view of the fermentation profile. The gravity is the red line, and it took about 7 days to fully ferment out. I finished at 1.003 for a 4.1% alcohol by volume. The temps are shown on the blue line, and you can see I pitched it at about 20 degrees Celsius and it went down to in between 13 and 15 degrees for the fermentation. I carbonated the batch using the Blickman Quick Carb, and I will use this opportunity to shamelessly plug my review video here in the corner.
So another brew day is done. Everything is all packed up. Well, from my last brew day, stuff's not all packed up, but from this brew, the American Light Lager, or light beer, American Light Beer, I guess not necessarily a lager. Brew day's all done. Most of my keg, or the keg is already kicked. I managed to can a few of them, so I'm going through the review on these based out of the cans. Doesn't seem to be much difference in flavor between the cans and the keg. So without further ado, let's give it a sniff and see what she smells like, see what kind of aromas we're getting. Not expecting too much. It's probably going to be sort of malty. So yeah, it's fairly neutral, not a ton of aroma coming off of there. It is kind of cold already. I think, well, actually it's not too cold for the beer. This is sitting at about 9 degrees Celsius. It's a really clear beer. I guess it makes more sense for me to kind of pour it so you could have a look here. Let's take a look. One of the clear beers that I've ever made. I used gelatin in this. I think this was one of the first batches I used gelatin for. So yeah, she's super bright. It's weird how gelatin works like it says it will. But yeah, have a peek at that. So yeah, it's nice and clear. Great carbonation. Not a crazy amount of head on there, but whatever. 3 big gulps. Malty and not hoppy. Tastes like your standard American light beer. Yeah, the malt kind of hangs in there with me. It's tasty, and I really just like how clear it is. It's clear. Whether or not it's the most flavorful overall beer, who knows? But it is definitely a nice light drinker for your summer days. Too bad I'm wearing a vest and a toque inside my garage because it's 9 degrees in here. But yeah, it's a pretty great beer. I will brew more of it. I actually have some more ready to go. By ready to go, I mean ready to go up here. I'm gonna do another one. Might throw a few more hops in it next time just to make it a little more interesting. But for now, if you need a beer, especially if people that come to visit you are drinking beer all the time, then yeah, just go with a nice light American beer. I don't know why I keep calling it American. It's just a light beer, and they will be happy with it. If you have friends that don't really drink that many different beers or like your cheapy beers, this is a reasonable facsimile. So yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe if you like the video. And I guess if you like the video, you might as well like it as you go. No, like it right now. Then unlike it or dislike it. Depends on what you think. Either way, thanks a lot for watching. We will see you next time. Almost forgot. No complaints here. Cheers.